Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great week. Shabbat Shalom. This week's Parsha is Lech Lecha. We are introduced to our first patriarch, Avraham Avinu, Abraham, our father. Avraham and Sarah lived in Ur Kasdim, which is in modern-day Iraq. Then they moved to Haran, which is in modern-day Turkey. And when they were in Haran, God comes to Avraham and says, Lech Lecha, to a land that I will show you. Lech Lecha. Lech, go. Lecha, to yourself, for yourself. Lech lecha, it's redundant. This second word, lecha, is unnecessary. Of course, we know it's not unnecessary. As we learned from Rabbi Akiva, every single piece of a single letter in the Torah is significant. So this second lecha, our sages interpret as being an explanation for go for yourself or go to yourself. Go for yourself, meaning it is your responsibility. You must leave what you are comfortable with for your own good. To be the leader that you will become, you must leave. Or to yourself. You must go into yourself, understanding yourself in a deeper way by coming out of your comfort zone. And this is a really beautiful idea, that nothing magical happens in your comfort zone. Leah and I once had a yoga teacher who said, nothing magical happens in your comfort zone, though she was specifically referring to how to do the crow pose or being bold enough to do the crow pose. If you do not know what I'm referring to, the crow pose is a yoga pose where your palms are flat on the ground and you're balancing your whole body on the backs of your arms. Like you're like crouched balancing. You're literally flipped upside down. And it takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage because you truly can fall forward and break your nose or hurt yourself. So in order to do the crow pose correctly, you really have to just like hold your body very, very stiffly or, flex certain things and trust. You got to like kind of fall forward to do it, which is kind of what God is asking Abraham to do. He's leaving a place that's comfortable. He's leaving his comfort zone to do something magical. From this parsha, we get the idea of a brit milah, of circumcision, that a child on their 8th day of existing should be circumcised. And people often say, circumcision is so barbaric. Why should you do that to a small child? And honestly, I thought the same thing until it was explained to me in a really beautiful way by one of my rabbis at Neve Yerushalayim, the seminary that I was at in Jerusalem. So reproductive organs are the most godly parts of the human body because that is the most godly thing that we can do, is to create human life. So it makes sense that the covenant between God and the people should be on the most godly part of our bodies. People know that Jews circumcise their children. It's a very known thing. And so it makes sense that that is also why it's the covenant. It's a reminder always that we are other, that we are different. And this brings us also to the idea of Avraham being an Ivri. And Ivri is Hebrew for Hebrew. That's translated into English as Hebrew. So Ivri, the word Ivri, comes from the word ever, meaning the other side. So the first practical explanation is that Abraham lived in Haran, which was on the other side of the Euphrates River to Israel. But the real meaningful explanation that our sages give is that Abraham was on the other side of the moral divide of the world, that he was upright and good and willing to be on the other side of what was common or popular. Because being righteous, you must be ready for isolation because no one likes the moral police. No one likes to see what they're doing wrong. No one likes to have an unpopular opinion. And so that's why being a righteous person means you have to stand up for what you believe in. You have to stand up for what is right, and you have to be righteous in a place where people are not so righteous. So again, we have this idea of trusting what we know is right or trusting what we know we must do in order to succeed. So those are the themes this week. That reproductive organs are the most godly parts of the body, and if we're pure people, we recognize that. Secondly, that we must trust and be willing to fall on our noses in the crow pose to do what is really asked of us, what is really our mission in life. And then thirdly, it's not always easy to be an other. And as Jews, we are always others. So I wrote about this in my email, but try to think about a time that you've been othered, or maybe this coming week, notice when you feel othered. How does it make you feel? Reflect on it and let me know. Shabbat Shalom.